Good evening, everyone. After nearly 18 months of participating in events like this one from the computer in my home study, it's wonderful to see some of you in person this evening. Welcome also to our friends and colleagues joining us from online. If there is a silver lining from the past year and a half of pandemic and lockdown, it is the innovative ways we have learned to leverage technology to communicate and collaborate from a distance. Thank you to CII for organizing this significant and timely discussion in partnership with the U.S. Consulate about reducing greenhouse gas emissions in the manufacturing sector. According to a 2017 study conducted by the Environmental Protection Agency, roughly a quarter of greenhouse gas emissions from the U.S. and India come from the manufacturing sector. This figure only takes into account direct emissions and would be higher if electricity and transport emissions were included. While the manufacturing sector in both our countries contributes significantly to greenhouse gas emissions that negatively impact climate change, industry can, in fact, must be an integral part of the solution. I hope today's program will inform and inspire you with new methods, technologies, and partnerships to help you contribute to these solutions. The future of our planet depends on it. In the United States, President Biden has made fighting climate change a top priority. After fulfilling his promise to bring America back into the Paris Agreement, in April, he convened 40 heads of state and many other world leaders for a virtual leaders summit on climate. At the summit, the United States, India, and other nations accounting for half of the world's economy committed to targets that would keep the goal of limited global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius within reach. In support of this goal, the United States and India launched the U.S.-India Climate and Clean Energy Agenda 2030 Partnership, which lays out a bold vision for our countries to work together over the coming decade to meet the goals of the Paris Agreement. This partnership is proceeding with active involvement and interest at the highest levels of our government. In early April, U.S. Presidential Envoy for Climate John Kerry visited India, where he and Prime Minister Modi affirmed our collaboration on a 2030 agenda for clean technologies and climate action. I anticipate our partnership will only gain momentum following Special Envoy Kerry's planned visit to India later this month. India deserves recognition for its global leadership on climate change. The independent and well-reputed website Climate Action Tracker has rated the government of India's climate efforts as 2% compatible. To date, India is the only major economy to receive this rating. Prime Minister Modi's initiatives to establish the International Solar Alliance and the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure further demonstrate India's leadership on climate issues. For our part, the United States has set ambitious domestic goals, looking to achieve a carbon emissions-free power sector by 2035, and to put America on a path to become a net zero economy by 2050. The U.S. government is taking specific, meaningful actions with government and private sector partners here in India to promote sustainability. I'd like to take a few moments to share a few of these initiatives with you. To start, the U.S. Foreign Commercial Service is actively tracking new project announcements that will allow U.S. suppliers to bring the latest technologies in pollution control, air monitoring, and wastewater treatment to India. They are also coordinating with American envirotech companies focused on clean air, weather monitoring, and forecasting, and hope to organize a visit to India later this year. This visit will build on the first environment trade mission, which took place in February 2020, focused on water technology. The U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, or DFC, which recently opened a regional office at the consulate here in Mumbai, has committed more than $800 million to solar projects around India. The DFC's financial commitments include 2 300-megawatt solar power stations in Rajasthan and 2 smaller stations in Gujarat. The DFC, working in partnership with USAID, also recently signed a risk-sharing guarantee agreement with New York-based Encourage Capital and 2 Indian financial companies, Seekers Financial and Electronica Finance Limited, to support loans for small and medium-sized enterprises to install rooftop solar panels. The agreement mobilizes up to $41.7 million in financing for this green energy initiative. The DFC has an estimated $550 million of additional renewable energy projects in the pipeline as well. While we are proud of these achievements, there is still much more we can accomplish together. Lowering trade barriers for clean energy technologies and synchronizing our economic development initiatives to include renewables is a good place to start. The Indian government's recent announcement of new customs duties on the import of solar cells and solar modules may be intended to promote domestic manufacturing capacity, but will also increase the capital cost of solar power projects by 24%. Consequently, these custom duties will make solar power more expensive in India, negatively impacting the consumer and the environment. The bottom line is that the world is counting on India and the United States to act boldly together against climate change. In an era of unpredictable wildfires, cyclones, and flooding, it is incumbent on anyone who can make a difference to do everything we can. Please let us know how we can partner with you to further your company's climate change goals. In closing, I would like to once again thank the organizers of this evening, and especially the CIA International and U.S. offices. Thank you to B. Diagarajun, Govindraj Itharaj, Harshpina Zaveri, Swarup Banerjee, Dr. Pradeep Pantigrahi, and Anirban Ghosh for making the time to participate in what I am sure will be an interesting and informative discussion. Finally, thank you all for your time and your kind attention. Your participation in tonight's event is a step in the direction of a more sustainable future. Thank you very much.